James Harden, ladies and gentlemen.
The Mind of Basketball Podcast. I am Evan.
Nanja.
And this is our basketball podcast where we recap, break down, analyze players and teams from the previous games from the previous day.
Psst, I see dead people. Put it on that beat. Nope.
Welcome to the Mind of Basketball Podcast. I am Evan.
I'm Ja.
And we are back again to recap round one of the NBA playoffs, as well as previewing round two and the game seven from round one that just happened, as well as the game one from round two that just happened. There's quite a bit to talk about, Ja. Quite a bit to talk about.
Yeah.
Including the Miami Heat, but we will talk about everything else.
Yeah. Well, ladies and gentlemen, let's just say, if you watched our last episode, it aged like spoiled milk. It aged real bad. It didn't go right.
It didn't.
It did it. Like everything that we said, we kind of got to take back and apologize about. But hey, this is the NBA. This is what happens. You don't know what to expect in the postseason. You don't know what to expect in the regular season. You can say whatever you want, but once the postseason hits, it's a different story. Anything can happen. Anybody could come out of nowhere, and things could just take you for a loop. But let's get into it.
Yeah, we had some. Yeah, we had some pretty bad, pretty awful predictions. They did not age well whatsoever. Well, except for one for me. New York, let's stand up. Jalen Brunson. Boston, we here. Boston, we here. Boston. I ain't gonna talk about my prediction about Boston should be here, but it's okay. The Knicks in a ultra competitive series defeated the Detroit Pistons, a young and up and coming squad, in 6 close games, with the game winner by the burner himself, Jalen Brunson.
This ain't high school science.
Mask up.
This ain't high school science now.
He's him.
No
He's him.
burner, no nothing.
Listen, when in doubt, clutch player of the year for a reason. I hear all these Nick haters, and there's a lot of them, and most of them are from New York. I hear all these Knicks haters talking about how he's a flopper, how the Pistons gonna win, how we're gonna blow the lead, and now they just change the narrative to, oh, we're gonna get blown out by Boston. It just shifts. We never get any credit. It just shifts. The goalpost always shifts with the Knicks. It's every year. This happens every single time with Nick haters.
Well, I don't mean to cut you off if you was trying to continue, but we know why we never give y'all credit or y'all chance or y'all reasonings, because the reasonings to why we don't give y'all credit are valid.
No,
but I'm gonna let you finish. I'm gonna let you finish.
You gonna let me finish?
Yeah, I'm gonna let you finish.
Cool. So don't interrupt me next time. Jalen Brunson. There's a reason why he's one of the best players in the league. There's a reason why he got the Clutch Player of the Year. Everybody complains that he flop. Everybody in the league flop. He don't flop as much as all the other star players does. Okay, let's get that out of the way. All right, because if I'm not mistaken, in game 4, when he had 30 points and 2 free throws, nobody said anything.
Exactly.
Nobody said anything. But the minute he exaggerates a little bit, or he's trying to draw a foul and initiate contact because he is like 5'10", by the way, I might add you, going to the hoop, finishing in traffic. Yeah, I'm sorry, he might exaggerate a little bit trying to draw a little contact because that's what he needs to do, but he doesn't need, that's what he can do, but he doesn't need to. And it's been shown time and time again. He's a good post player. He's a great dribbler. He can score inside. He can shoot the three. Has a mid range. He has a step back. He has a crossover. Oh, good God. Oh, good God. He has a crossover. Amen. Amen. Yeah, get your twin. Get your twin. Yeah, like, come on. I'm tired of this New York Knicks hate. I'm tired of this Jalen Brunson hate. You've seen it time and time again. He is clutch. He's an elite performer in the highest of stages. We've seen it in Dallas. We've seen it in New York these past few years, and we've seen it again all throughout every single game in this Detroit Pistons series.
I agree. I agree. Look at it. I don't got anything negative to say about Jalen Brunson. Jalen Brunson is
There's
the
nothing negative to say.
yeah. There's nothing negative to say about him. Jalen Brunson is the true king of New York. Everything that you just explained right there about him is truthful. But let's be honest here about your team. And this is why I'm trying to say, yes, Brunson showed why he's the clutch player of the year for a reason. I'm in agreement. He showed it throughout this whole series. He did. But once again, ladies and gentlemen, just like I said, there's reasons to why I continue to invalidate the New York Knicks from what they could potentially be, which is a championship team. And this is why. Number one, you guys, I give you credit. I give you credit. Ted, before I get into the negative, let me add on the positive. You guys are extremely great under pressure. I agree with that. When the game's on the line, where it matters the most, not just Jalen Brunson shows up, but everyone on the team shows up. I give you guys that. Mikal Bridges, OG Anunoby, Cat, he turned into a different breed since coming to New York, but he's from here, so it makes sense. But let me tell you why. You don't have to be in pressure situations when you already have a comfortable lead. But for some weird reason, it's like y'all want that pressure. It's like y'all be up by 40 points. Y'all up by 40 points. Okay, I'm over exaggerating, but it feels like y'all up by 40 points to find some way to let the opposition come back and almost win the game or take over and win the game. And that's my problem with you guys. You guys do not know how to maintain leads. That could be, there was a lot of times you guys were up by 20, 30 points, and literally all of a sudden you could turn your head for 1 second and look back, and it's like the Pistons already have a 3-point lead. I was like, what just happened? I just turned my head for 1 second. That's my thing. You guys literally do not know how to maintain leads. You guys shouldn't be finding yourselves in situations where y'all gotta find ways to pull out gutsy wins when you guys are already up by a whole bunch. Now, I know there's a whole lot of basketball that still needs to be played, but it does not make sense. And that's what annoys me. You guys are coughing up leads like it's no tomorrow, but you may get away with it against Detroit, but against a juggernaut like the Celtics, which y'all going to be facing, just let you know, y'all not gonna get off the hook. I'm sorry, y'all not getting off the hooks. And mind you, let's not get to a fact of like your bench isn't that deep to be making those mistakes.
We don't need a bench when we got Bodega Cat. We don't need a bench when we got OG and Mikal Bridges who stepped up big time in game 6.
Let me say something about that game 6. Let me say something about that game 6. And mind you, forget that. Let's talk about game 5. You guys were up big in game 5 until y'all coughed that up and made them come back too. That's what I'm saying. Like, why y'all make that? Y'all supposed to be one of the best defensive teams.
Big in game 5. It was up big in game 6.
Okay, but regardless, there was a lot of times you guys were up big and y'all coughed it. And you can't say I'm lying about that. You know it. I know it. All of New York knows it.
15-point leads. They're easy to blow in the NBA with any team nowadays.
Okay, but look, okay, there we go.
We wasn't up by 29.
No, you're not wrong. You're right. You're right. And nowadays it's not easy to keep a 15-point lead. But here's my thing. Outside of Cade Cunningham and probably who? What's his name? Tim Hardaway.
Hmm.
Who else on your team is scorers like that y'all should be losing leads to a team like Detroit?
Now, listen, Jalen Durham was bugging. I don't understand. Like, he was wild.
There we go. Thank you. Thank
Yeah,
you.
Jalen Durham was wild.
He was wilding. Mind you,
Listen,
you
all
don't hear
right.
that often.
There was a reason why I barely talked about Detroit. I was scared. I was terrified.
I
I
know
was
you were scared after all those times
I didn't want
after
to talk
all
about
those
them.
years.
The last podcast, I didn't even mention them. I did not mention. I didn't want to talk about them because I was just so afraid. Because I the audience doesn't know the history I got with Detroit. Okay, not the city, just the team recently. I should say I have might have said that Detroit is where careers go to die. Now that's because it was the truth. Has been terrible for years.
Yeah,
For years.
they have.
Not They were just terrible. Like when I mean they were just terrible just last year. They were awful.
Yeah,
And
I
somehow within a season they have turned it all around and surprised everybody
mhm.
in just one season. And they're young and they're hungry and they have a lot of talent. They have great coaching and JB Bickerstaff. So I was afraid. I was afraid. They got a lot of talent though, and we was on upset watch. So and every team would have been on upset watch for the Detroit Pistons team.
Yeah, yeah.
It's not just us.
Let me say this though. Let me say this. I understand. Yes, like you guys want upset watch because anything can happen in the postseason. But here's my thing: it's just like the Pistons do not have what you guys have. You guys have everything that is right to win a chip, and y'all almost lost to a team that literally just made a turnaround switch. Mind you, they won 14 games last year. They switched the number. You know, they switched the number around. Like literally went from 14 to 41, a team that's literally only led by Cade Cunningham when it comes to okay, let me not just say Cade. Let me say Cade takes on most of the load as the offensive scoring threat. But yeah, do got shooters like Malik Beasley, Tim
Yeah,
Hardaway.
but he went
Yeah,
crazy in that first half.
he went crazy in that first half and he went cold in the second. It didn't make sense. He didn't even want to take his
Adjustments.
shot.
Adjustments. Thank you
And
to the
hey, let me tell you something, right? Let me tell you something. I don't know what that's the reason I'm going to say Detroit lost the game. I'm not even going to say the Knicks won. This is a point where Detroit lost the game because they went away from their game plan from the first half. I understand adjustments, yes, because that's what elite coaching experience gets you, especially when you've been in situations like this before. But I'm just like, these guys went away from doing the three ball. There was times I even seen Tim Hardaway. I said, "Why are you taking a dribble? You're a really good catch and shoot player. Why are you trying to dribble?" That gives them
dribble.
that gives defenders opportunity to set up and gather to get
No,
into your
let
space.
him do that. Let him do that. Believe me, as a Knicks fan, I've seen it. I've seen it, Tim.
And that's the reason
I've
why it
seen
just
it.
didn't make sense. And like, let me not and shout out to the Thompson twins. They have done great. But
Great.
but wait, which one is this one? Asar, right? This one
Yes.
is Asar.
Yep.
Asar, you did great up until that last point. I don't know what happened.
Everybody saying he did. He had a couple good possessions on Jalen Brunson, but Jalen Brunson was cooking them for most of the majority of the time. Let's get it. Let's not get it
Nah, I'm
twisted.
not gonna lie,
And
you
they
did.
left him on an island 1-on-1 because just a couple possessions before that, he had great defense on Brunson and forced a shot clock violation. So they said, "Oh yeah, he can do that again." Nope, skeeted his ass to Cancun. Sorry.
That was a great play, but out of all times where we needed a defensive stop, it wouldn't been that one. Detroit, I was going with you guys because I already knew one thing about the Knicks is the fact of y'all don't know how to y'all could go up big but find a way not to maintain it. That was the reason why I was going against the Knicks in game 6. Cause I said I've seen it so many times in this series where I feel like y'all got the game closed in. Y'all should be up out of here, get moving on to the next round, and for some reason Detroit finds a way back. And I don't know, the Pistons just collapsed at the wrong moment offensively. That's what even got me more upset. I said bad moment. But
That's
I
where you
give
got
you guys credit. You guys pulled out a gutsy win. I know Cat had foul trouble, so he wasn't able to do what he usually does, and especially what he's been doing to Detroit in this series. He was really good. but unfortunately, foul trouble caught up to him. But let me tell you this: I said it before, and I say it again. You could get away with doing those things against a team like Detroit, but remember who you're facing in this round now. It's not going to be pretty. They're not going to let you off the hook. Trust me. Any smell of fresh blood they see or they get a whiff of is game over for you guys. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. But I'm gonna keep that until we talk about predictions. Go ahead.
I would have been scared of them if they had Larry Bird, Kevin McHale, and Robert Parrish.
All right, here we go.
Maybe Paul Pierce, Kevin Garnett, Ray Allen, Rajon Rondo. Maybe those squads. Shit. Maybe Bill Russell.
they scared of Porzingis. I know. Yeah,
About,
definitely.
but I'm not. Man, I'm a loser. I quitter. Please, I ain't worried about no Porzingis. Listen, the Knicks. I got all my faith in the Knicks. Okay, I got all my faith. I ain't worried about no JT. I ain't worried about no Jaylen Brown. I ain't worried about no Drew Holiday. I ain't worried about Derek White. I'm not worried about any of the body. Al Horford. Orlando should have handled business, but you know what? It's okay. It's all right because the Knicks got it. The Knicks got it. But we'll save that for a little bit.
Hey,
Save that for a little bit.
you really don't know what Drew Holiday does. I know I'm
I
just
love Drew Holiday. Great player. Great defender. I love Drew Holiday. But come
hey,
on.
come on, bro. You really think he gonna make Jalen Brunson get anything, bro? Jalen Brunson had some really good games
Bet. Bet.
on
Bet. 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 Bet.
Okay,
Because you don't know who
bet.
Jalen Brunson is.
I know who
Bet.
Jalen Brunson
Bet.
is. I know who he is. But
This ain't
I
2019
also
Drew
know Drew
Holiday. This
Holiday.
ain't 28. This ain't 2017 Drew Holiday when he locked down Damian Lillard. No, 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 no.
Hey,
Drew
we'll
Holiday's
watch the
older.
game and see. We'll watch the
Drew
game
Holiday's a
and
little bit
see.
older. Cut it out.
Okay, we'll watch the game and see. That's it.
All right. Yeah, yeah, yeah. He's gonna need some help. They're gonna double team and triple team. And that's what we have Cat for. Al Horford ain't. Come on.
Okay, I was never saying Al Horford.
Come
I
on.
would have said Porzingis, but not Al Horford.
Come on. Porzingis is probably gonna get hurt.
Yo,
I'm not wishing that on him. I'm just saying he's injury prone. He's probably gonna get hurt.
okay, ever since he joined Dallas, he has been injury prone. Oh, I should lie. Since he had that,
I don't want him to get hurt. I would love him to be healthy so we could beat him. I would love it. I would love it. As a Knicks fan, I would love it.
oh, this is
Believe me. But I'm just saying he's injury prone. That's all that it is.
okay.
I'm not
All
gonna say
right.
who we got to worry about. Jalen Brown's right hand and Tatum.
Yo,
Come on.
hey, we just gotta watch the game. That's all I'm gonna say. Watch the game.
Knicks in 6. All right. Let's go. Sorry, I spoiled my prediction, but I'll talk about it more later. All right. Let's move on from the Knicks. Let's pivot on from the Knicks. Let's talk about another team. Um, I don't know if I want to talk about them yet in the Western Conference. Maybe we'll hold off on that.
Oh, I think hold off on that. Hey, hold off
Yeah,
on.
we'll stay in the East for now.
Mm-hmm.
Um, we'll go into this Cavs series. In the second round. Game 1 just happened. I just wanted to say, I swear to God, the Indiana Pacers are the luckiest team in the world. They are the luckiest team in the world. I can't stand these guys. I really got a problem with them. They're like they move around so cocky and so smug. Oh, like I really wanted Giannis to really yoke them, but like you don't understand. They got so lucky. They got so lucky that the Bucks threw that game 5 away. Because if they win game 5, they go to game 6. Who knows what can happen? They got so lucky Damian Lillard got hurt. Unfortunately, praise up to Damian Lillard.
Mm-hmm.
He's getting to that time. He's getting older with his injuries like that could be very, very threatening to the rest of his career.
Yeah.
So I hope the recovery is good, and I hope he can come back even somewhat the player that he used to be.
Yeah.
But I swear, Indiana is so lucky. And then yeah, they had a great game 1 in Cleveland. Of course, Darius Garland was hurt, another injury. But I give them credit. They held off the Cavs comeback attempt. The Cavs took the lead, but they took strong. The role player stepped up. Halliburton, I guess, played good. 3-point shooting, they was killing the Cavs with that. So I'll give Indiana some credit. I swear they're just so lucky, and I hate watching them. I hate watching them. I really do.
Oh, you sound like a real life hater right now.
I don't want. I don't like seeing.
Look, I'll say this, right? One thing I always notice about the playoffs is usually the first two games, more importantly, game one, is usually like a test. You're trying to get comfortable with understanding each other's game plans to see how
Mm.
could you counteract each other whenever certain situations happen. And I feel like this was just like a little bit of a test run, probably for the. I don't. When I say that, I'm not disrespecting Indiana either, because I got a lot of great things to actually say about them rather than negative. But this is probably a test for the Cavs just to see, especially you just said with Garland now. Now they have to change up a little bit, but I feel like this is just a test for the Cavs to see how could we go against these guys defensively. Indiana has always been a great offensive team, a really good high pass, fast paced, high power team offensively. And I'm not gonna lie, I think they have a chip on their shoulder. They have something to prove from last year when everybody said that they were a fluke because all the teams that they face, either one or two, they're mainly the stars got hurt when it came time to face them. So as a result, people don't give them the credit that they deserve. I'm sorry. I
Neither
understand
do I.
this time, yes, Dame got hurt and stuff like that. But even when Dame came back for that short stretch of time, they still showed that that offensive juggernaut type of team. Defensively, I feel like they shown it a little bit too, because again, they still got Miles Turner down there who makes a great impact. So Indiana
Yeah.
is a team where even though I kind of disrespected them by saying that they're not a threat, I think they're continuing to show strides of, hey, we could surprise a lot of people still at the end of the day, too. They do have everything that's needed, and we must forgot who their coach is. Their coach is a championship winning head coach. So we can't
I
just
love Rick Carlisle. I
yeah,
love.
so we can't just put them past. Do I have them winning this series? Hell no. But they did great with exposing the Bucks issues because the Bucks have a lot of problems themselves that they have to find a way to fix before things go bad. Because now everybody's already campaigning that Giannis is out of there. My son just got into a fight with what's his name, Matt Thurman,
Halliburton's
and
dad.
then yeah, and Halliburton's dad. My son went up to that was stupid by Halliburton's dad. I don't know why he even
The guy
tried
was
that.
actually yoked up.
Exactly, but we gonna leave that alone. But Indiana still stuck to their game plan despite everybody saying that they were a fake four seed going against a team that is injury riddled. But I said, hey, I feel like healthy or not, I feel like if they was healthy, I would say this. If the Bucks were healthy, it would have been a 7 game series based on the way Indiana played. I say that.
I'll agree with that statement. And Indiana is surprising me. They surprised me with this game on again. Garland's hurt, but I'll give them some credit. Some credit. They played great. Held off the storm against Cleveland. They
Hey,
stole.
hey, by the way,
Stole the home court.
apologize to Halliburton.
No, they they stole the home court advantage from Cleveland. So I'll give them that. Indiana's up on Cleveland, 1-0 right now. We'll see what can happen in game two in that series.
Yeah.
That's the Eastern Conference. Let's go on to the rest. Now, I opened this episode of the podcast saying James Harden, ladies and gentlemen. That is because James Harden did what James Harden does: playoff basketball, and he disappears in the biggest moment. There's been time after time after time after time. I think we've talked about it on this podcast before, where
Yeah.
James Harden has been nowhere to be found. In big time situations, I got receipts. NBA Finals 2013 against the Miami Heat.
2012.
2012, yes, sorry, 2012.
Mhm.
There has been, and tell me if I'm missing one, if I'm skipping over one. I know for sure. 2017 against the Spurs, game
Yeah.
six, one in which I believe Kawhi and LaMarcus Aldridge didn't play, or Kawhi and Ginobili didn't play. in Houston, and they
Yeah.
got blown out
Hmm.
and got eliminated that game.
Yeah.
Um, I guess I won't count his Brooklyn series because he was playing hurt. So I guess we'll skip over that.
But 76ers is no excuse.
76ers. Oh my God. Oh my God.
And I think there was one, I don't really know if you could really count it, but I think there was one in 2014 against Portland where everybody had them beating Dame and LaMarcus
Yep.
because they had the white and they lost that one.
Yep. Yep.
But go on.
That one. Got the game 6 in Boston after choking the game 5 in Philly.
Yeah.
Um, oh no, the game 7 in Boston after choking the game 6 to
If-
eliminate the Celtics and go to the Eastern Conference Finals, something the Sixers hasn't done since AI.
Yeah. Yeah.
But that's all. That was a tag team. That was a duo. That was him and the flopper over there, the 7 foot flopper called Embiid. Got a
He's-
ton of skill and ton of scat talent, but he just wants to flop. And that's why he'll never win. And that's why Harden will never win
yeah.
because they do stuff like that. They don't show up in the big moments. And once again, Game 7 in Denver, and he scores 7 more points than you and me.
I'll say this because we're in agreement of playoff Harden, but let's not act like as if he wasn't a big difference maker in this series because a lot of
Absolutely.
people surprisingly had the Clippers getting either swept or losing in 5. That's the
That
reason
yeah, that
that's
surprised
the reason why I don't listen to. I hope. Look, I don't know if we could curse, but I'm gonna curse. I don't care. That's the reason why you don't listen to these bullshit ass modern day analytics people because they don't know what the fuck they're talking about. But people don't like to listen to me. People think I'm joking when I say that. I was like, don't focus on these analysts. They don't know nothing about basketball. Charles was not lying. But as I was trying to say, they was like, I was like a team with Kawhi Leonard and James Harden. You guys think they're going to get swept or out in 5 games? I said that's Kawhi alone would not make that happen. Trust and believe. Kawhi alone will not make that happen. But the Clippers do have a really good roster too to keep up, and it showed. But just like what you said, when it mattered most, he didn't show up. Mind you, he had a great game 1. He was really good game 2, game 3. Yo, this was a beautiful series, by the way. But
Oh yeah, it
he
was a great. Yeah, we kind of skipped. It was a great series.
Yeah, it was a great series, but when it mattered the most, it had an ugly ending. It was just an ugly ending to a great series, and it's unfortunate right there that he's the reason to it. He's the real reason to it. But they did almost have a little comeback, but it was already too late. The game was already decided. So
Yeah, it was way too late.
exactly.
Then an instant. Oh my God, this is why you can't bet on James Harden, and of course you can't bet on the Clippers. Clippers are cursed. Really dumb. We all knew this.
Hmm.
We all knew this. They were able to get that one conference finals thanks to Paul George. I know, right? Of all people. That year, and they lost to Phoenix in 6,
Hmm.
but they've had so many opportunities to make a deep run into the playoffs, and they failed time after time after time for a little over a decade now.
Tune into that video, by the way, on MOB's on MOB podcast channel.
Yes, yes. Tune into that video about the Clippers embarrassing teams. Lob City Clippers. Lob City Clippers failed team to win a championship.
Exactly.
Continuing that series right after the Phoenix Suns '93 failed
Exactly.
failed teams to fail to win the championship.
10%.
But yeah, I mean, sucks if you're a Clippers fan. I mean, I bet it's kind of probably what they expect. Believe me, as a Knicks fan, I know disappointment happens all the time. But this Nuggets team, I want to say Aaron Gordon. We don't know how much Aaron Gordon really like saved them.
Yeah, yeah,
One, he had a stellar series,
yeah.
just all in all.
Mhm.
Beefing with James Harden and all that. Two, that game 4, which by the way, I've never seen a buzzer beater that close.
Exactly.
That was ridiculous.
Right off the fingertips at the right time.
Yes. just in time. But that game four, they were getting blown. The Clippers were getting blown out. They were down by 22. They
Yeah.
stormed all the way back, had all the momentum. The crowd was going crazy, tied the game up, and Aaron Gordon did that dunk at the buzzer. If that doesn't happen, of course, who knows? That's an alternate reality. It's not a guarantee, but I believe the Clippers win that game. Everything was going right for them. The crowd, momentum shift, Kawhi. I mean, it was just clicking. So you can tell if this game was going to overtime, it was going to them. And if they went to them, they would have been up 3-1. And I don't think Denver comes back from that. Now they've done it before. The Denver team led by Nikola Jokic and Jamal Murray came back from 3-1 down twice, coincidentally against the Clippers as well. But
Yep. Mm-hmm.
I don't see that happening this time. So the impact of that Aaron Gordon moment really I think saved the Nuggets this series.
But you hit it right on the nose right there. And I think this is the reason why we love this game, especially in moments like this, because one play could be a momentum shifter for a whole lot of games
Mm.
in terms of like it's a domino effect. Like momentum matters in the postseason. Any kind of momentum or any kind of advantage that you could get against each other in these playoffs matters so much because it could go from either losing a series or ended up winning the series. And that
Yep.
game winning dunk gave momentum to the Nuggets. Yeah, I know for a fact. Obviously, they lost game five. Game what's it game? No,
They lost game six. Nuggets lost game
game
six.
six. Yeah, there we go. They lost game six. But look at that. Because of the fact that that tip and dunk happened, that game winning tip, they went back home and took care of business. Took care of business. Shout out to Jamal Murray, 43 points, looking like playoff Murray. A lot of people
Playoff
said,
Murray back.
yeah, right back. Like I know again he's been getting a lot of flock this year for his performance, his inconsistencies, but we already know that's always been a talk about him. But we know what happens when the postseason hits, and he showed it in that game five. He literally took advantage of the momentum that they had and went to work in their home floor, known for a fact they need to be up after everything going on this season. They needed this win, and he delivered. He delivered. Now in Game 6, did I wish that Westbrook when I did that? No, but it's fine because they made back up for it in Game 7. But
Yeah, and Westbrook had a big game seven too.
yes,
Knocking
yep.
down, they was leaving him open. They tried to leave him open, and he was knocking down three after three.
Mm-hmm.
Westbrook was bugging. Then he got that technical foul. Sent him out of here. That's right. Love to see
Hey,
Westbrook. Love to see Westbrook succeed and play well.
as I told you, that's Westbrook's career in a nutshell. Love it or hate it.
Yeah, yeah, that is. But I'm gonna love to see it in the next round. I'm gonna love to see it. And funny enough, Nuggets face Westbrook's his team.
Yeah,
I mean, that's the Oklahoma City Thunder. That was
yeah,
Westbrook's team right there. That's where he made his name and his fame.
yeah.
They gonna put his jersey in the rafters when he retires.
Mhm.
So now he's gonna have a series best of seven against that Oklahoma City Thunder. The two MVP candidates. There's huge debate going on this year. Kola Jokic or SGA. We'll save that for the predictions once we get to them because there's still two more things we got to cover real quick. Well, not real quick, but
I know what you mean, partner.
yeah, yeah. From one LA team to another.
If you have this one, I'm gonna let you have this one for right now because I know you got a lot to say.
My disappointment is immeasurable, and my day is ruined. The Los Angeles Lakers. I can't believe that they lost to this Wolves team in five.
Yeah.
At least before I can believe that. After seeing how it played out, they should have got swept. The Wolves, one JJ Redick got out coached.
Mhm.
severely outcoached. Two, clearly, they didn't have no answer for a big. As we saw in Game 5, they also didn't have no answer for Anthony Edwards.
Mm.
They have a better bench, more talent, they're youthful, better coaching. They got a hustle. It was embarrassing to see be a Lakers fan because you saw what could have been the promises coming this year ever since that trade. Now Luka Doncic is one of the best players in the league today. He was just in the NBA Finals, led the Mavericks to the NBA Finals. He beat the Timberwolves last year,
Yeah, he did.
and I come back and they lose to this Wolves team in 5. But I want to give all the credit to the Timberwolves because they played phenomenal.
Let me tell you this, right? I think we underestimated the Timberwolves.
Yeah,
And here's why I say that. I think it's because again, we have a tendency to look at how the regular season played out and say, hey, this is what's going to happen in the postseason, which makes sense. But again, we always say we've seen a lot of teams that were way more talented lose to teams because of the simple fact that they're not structured better. Here's the thing when it comes to, I think what threw off our minds with this series, right, is the fact of we have a tendency to get so fixated on what happened in the regular season that we tend to forget that once again, the postseason is a whole different ballgame, a whole different stories. And what I mean when I say what I said is the fact of if you want to have seen the trajectory of each team prior to this playoff matchup throughout the regular season, you want to really thought that even though that the Lakers had a lot of switches and a lot of changes, which they have been having in these past recent years, you thought that this Lakers were still always consistently good. Yeah, the trade threw us for a loop and everything in terms of them shipping away AD and getting Luka, which is still kind of a weird trade when it comes to looking on Dallas's end, but that's a story for another time. But the questions that we was always getting into it is now this interior presence, these defensive interior presence, who's going to be in our interior. And meanwhile, when you look at the opposite side of the coin, you talk about Minnesota, it's just like they was having like all these little up and down moments where it's just like, yo, I don't think this team is structurally fit to play with each other. It's like they not understanding how it is. They just got Randall in a trade where now we clearly, after what happened in this series, we clearly do not know who won the trade. You could potentially say both teams won the trade, but it's still up in the air to be determined after after this postseason, depending on how things go.
yeah.
But that's what it was. But it's like again, you get so enamored when you hear the names of the stars of the Lakers, like oh, I don't know, Lashame and like Luka Doncic and like
Nah. Who?
Lashame and Luka
All
Doncic.
right, no, I'm not gonna let you just disrespect LeBron like that. LeBron.
Okay, you're right. The man deserves more respect. LeBron, Ramon, Lashane James. There we go. Um, like we got so fixated and we seen what happened when Luka joined the team. We seen them get way better. Yes, they lost a couple of games in that last stretch that I did not like, especially that Bulls game where it was close and they lost at the buzzer from Josh Giddey. And you talk about the fact that they nearly lost to Indiana until LeBron James saved them there with the tipping. But outside of that, they were always consistently a top 3 team in the Western Conference once they got Luka, compared to when they still had AD, where it was just the one moment they looked like they was at the top, and the next moment looked like they was slipping down. But yeah, we got so fixated on Luka coming to the Lakers that it kind of blinded us from all the flaws that they eventually had. Let's be honest about this Lakers team. Everything that this Lakers team did not have, the Minnesota Timberwolves actually had. And that's why I'm trying to say we underestimated them. And I'm not just talking about Anthony Edwards here. I'm talking about literally the Timberwolves had the structure. They had bench depth. They had interior presence defensively. They had presence defensively. They had guys that knew how to connect with each other in order to play well. They had the bench depth. They had the 3-point shooting, which was a big thing in this series. Literally, the 3-point, the defense and the 3-point is what made a huge difference between who was the better team. And you could clearly see that the Lakers lacked that a lot
Well,
in this series in
except for
Minnesota.
Game 5 when Minnesota shot like 7 for 41 from 47 from deep. But then again, they had their savior.
Exactly. But look at it. From game one, from the jump, it showed us that the Minnesota went crazy from the three in game one. Game two, they struggled. The Lakers came back, but they still had their inconsistencies. There was a lot of times where both teams went flat in the scoring department. They will go in certain runs and not make a point at all, but eventually somebody had to break that ice. But literally, the Minnesota Timberwolves had everything that we thought the Lakers had. And we got so fixated on the fact of, again, LeBron, Luca, AR-15, that is just like literally we overlook their flaws. The Lakers have no bench depth. They have no help defensively, whether it was interior or perimeter. They weren't connected as what we thought they were. So now it went from it don't matter, it don't care, whatever it is, Lakers in five to I don't know, shocking, upset, Timberwolves in five. And they showed. And I gotta apologize to Minnesota because I really underestimated them. I really thought, based on everything that happened in the regular season, it was going to carry through in the postseason. They was going to be up, out, and easy, probably swept, but it went the opposite way around. They proved us wrong. They proved us wrong. Just like what you said, they got out coached. Yes, they got out coached, but more importantly, they had everything that we thought the Lakers had to get over the hump. We thought that they was going to get outplayed in terms of intelligence. Because again, LeBron and JJ Redick together, that's a highly intelligent basketball minds. And Luca, of course, everybody's gonna sleep on Luca's IQ, but Luca is doing what he does for a reason. I feel like a lot of people do sleep on. I don't think they talk about Luca's IQ as much as they talk about LeBron and obviously JJ Redick's, but the Timberwolves had everything, and Rudy Gobert proved us wrong. We've been clowning him in terms of his defensive presence in the postseason, how all these teams could expose him, but you can see why he had the advantage this time around. Because again, the team lacked what you could potentially expose him on. You couldn't space the floor. So it gave him easy opportunities. And they didn't take, and more importantly, the Lakers did not take advantage of using, I don't know, their only 7-footer, along with the fact that they did take it, huh?
Jackson Hayes.
Yes. I understand. I don't know what it is about Jackson. He wasn't that good or whatever,
I
but
seen him get dunked on by Anthony. I wouldn't want him in the game.
You still need that big body down there. That's
Yeah,
what I'm trying to get
yeah.
at. You
Mhm.
still need a big body down there, no matter what. He's your only 7-footer on the team. Take advantage, use him. I said, if all else fails, then you live with the results at the end of the day. But still, you don't have no interior presence at all. So you're trying your best to use things with things that you don't have. You're trying your best to space the floor when you don't have that much shooters. You're not even utilizing your shooter because Dota Connect did not play at all in this series either. And it's just like, yo, like, what are you guys doing? How do you expect to win? And more importantly, y'all don't have the bench depth. Bronny's not going to be our number one, of course. So like, what are you guys what are you guys really trying to accomplish in this series? What are you doing? And you're blowing leads. And mind you, again, you don't have the team to maintain a lead. So the fact that I was even up at 14 in game four was kind of shocking because y'all don't even have the depth to even be up right now. But I want to apologize again once again to the state of Minnesota. Like, I didn't mean to disrespect your basketball organization like that, but and I won't misjudge y'all again. I apologize. Y'all had everything that we thought y'all didn't have and more.
Yeah, I have to apologize to Minnesota as well. I'll finish this. I mean, I'll wrap this up and I'll talk about the next series. Um, Apologies, Minnesota. We definitely underestimated you. You guys have more talent, more hustle, more skill, better coaching, and that's going to carry and Anthony Edwards. Why should I ever doubt you? I'm so sorry. Anthony Edwards is like that. He's been like that for a minute. Now he's got a playoff victory over LeBron. Got a playoff victory over Kevin Durant. Might have a playoff victory against another future Hall of Famer, but we'll get into
You
that.
don't forget Jokic too.
Jokic, yeah, Jokic. I was naming more like a more
Yeah,
like older,
like
yeah, older
yeah,
generation guys, yeah. But hey, Timberwolves, they got a Nas Reed stepped up big time in that game four. Rudy Gobert had just that crazy game five and 27 points and 24 rebounds, or 24 points, 27 rebounds, something like that.
2020 game, just a 2020 game.
Yeah,
That's
yeah,
all.
20 game. And he was a monster. And mainly because the Lakers didn't have any big on the court. No bad adjustments, and the Jackson Hayes wasn't in there. Just needed a big body, like you said. Somebody to neutralize. And they played a zone with Rudy Gobert. They clearly didn't watch when the Clippers took advantage of Rudy Gobert in the Utah Jazz. They ain't clearly watched when the Mavericks last year took advantage of Rudy Gobert. You can take advantage of him. Set him up
Exactly.
from the perimeter. Can't guard perimeter guys.
But here's the thing again, they don't have that type of talent or to do that. And even with the pieces that could potentially take him out of the
No,
perimeter,
they got
they
that
didn't
talent.
use they didn't utilize it though. They did not utilize it at all.
Yeah, but they got that talent. Like they have LeBron, they have Luca, they have Austin Reeves. Oh wait, I couldn't find them. They have pieces. They got guys.
Yeah.
Just sometimes they they're just cold. Like Austin Reeves, who like I said, I could not find him. He was cold.
Yeah, he didn't do great
Cold,
this year.
man. But congratulations to Minnesota Timberwolves. Move on to second round. They will face the Golden State Warriors. Golden State beat the Houston Rockets in 7 games, despite almost blowing a 3-1 lead again. That would have been a horror story. For that, I got to give credit to the Houston Rockets. Um, everybody doubted them in this series, and rightfully so, because the Warriors are the established team. They have the star players, and they got the experience. The Rockets, this is the first time as a unit they've been together in the playoffs. Rockets, as a franchise, has been in the playoffs since 2020. So this team that's young, up and coming, yeah, they got the you know experienced coach, but there's only so much the coach can do. And they got Fred VanVleet, of course, he's champion. You know,
Yeah.
but they got Steven Adams as well. So they had like enough mix, but the star players, the core there, Sengun, Jalen Green, who I don't know. But the the team that they have, Amin Thompson,
Mhm.
they just need some more experience. And to go against this Warriors team that had Stephen Curry and Draymond and Jimmy Butler, you
Yeah.
know, they was just they were just lacking in the But even though they were lacking that, they came to play. They stepped
They
up. They
they did.
hustled, and this was a learning experience for them. Definitely growth. And Van Vliet was streaky a little bit getting in the series, but then he caught fire, got it going. That's what they needed from him. And unfortunately, this game seven, the strategy didn't really work out. They wanted to just leave NBA players wide open. That's can't do that all the
Exactly.
time. I understand Steph Curry is Stephen Curry, but
Mhm.
Buddy Hield went crazy. Finally had a breakout game. Needed that from him. I'll let you talk more about him in a second. But I just want to give credit to the Houston Rockets. I feel like they're going to be there in the future.
Mhm.
This was a great learning experience for them. They will be back, and I'm looking forward to what they show us in the next few years.
Yeah. Outside of Jalen Green not showing up, there's nothing really much negative I could say about this
Yeah,
Houston
I don't
Rock.
know who that guy is. I don't know who he is.
Yeah, Jalen Green, who's either between him and Şengün, the star player of the team. They're both the stars, but you don't know who's number one. But I think Şengün just showed that he's number one. But outside of that, there's nothing really much. I really like the fact, just like what you said, this was an extreme test for them because you talk about you're facing a franchise who's been on a historically dominant run in these past decades, right? In
Mm.
this past decade, and like literally, they literally locked up Curry. I'll admit that. I'm not even gonna lie. Their defensive game plan on Steph Curry was amazing to watch. Like Curry and
Like,
game one and game two, he showed up, but like after that, it was basically on clamps from that point. He had a hard time. They was not going to make him shoot. They was not going to let him even run without the ball in his hands. Trust me, his bread and butter, moving without the basketball, they made sure that they was on him. So they did what they had to do. It was just that unfortunately that game plan kind of fizzled out at the end because as I said, game seven, buddy.
uh,
Game six played and game seven, buddy. Buddy Hield went, I yo, he shot the lights out. Game seven,
yeah,
33 points. What was he like? Eight of 10 from the I said 8 of 10. 8 of 10 from the three?
yeah, yeah. I
Yeah,
can look it up right now as you continue.
but yeah, he was lights out, and again, playoff Jimmy. I gotta look. Let me tell you something. Let's be honest about this Golden State team, and this is the reason why I'm happy that I'm still having the thing because I do have them going to the finals.
9 for 11, Buddy Hield was.
Not for 11. You see, so he was lights out from the three. But here's my thing about this Golden State team, right? Obviously, it is still a downgrade when you lose Klay Thompson, but you still find a way to bring in players that can keep that system that you guys had going for years in terms of a space out, flow, shoot type of team. And picking up Buddy Hill was a great acquisition. I'm not going to say act like as if it wasn't. He ain't no Klay Thompson, but I prefer him over many other shooters in the league. But this Golden State team was not looking that pretty. They weren't looking that pretty, and they didn't even look like they was going to probably even make the postseason when they got to the middle of the season. Getting Jimmy Butler was a godsend for them. It was literally a godsend for them. If it wasn't for Jimmy, they would not be in the position that they are in.
Mhm.
And this game seven showed it in terms of everything that playoff Jimmy's about. You're not just talking about getting clutch baskets when it matters the most, but making clutch plays defensively, making the right reads offensively. He was just all over the floor, more importantly. And when they locked down Curry, they must forgot that about who playoff Jimmy was. They literally forgot who playoff Jimmy was because when it mattered the most, outside of Buddy Hill having his breakout game, he showed why he does what he does when it comes to the postseason time. And Houston just really, honestly, did not have a game plan. Now, there was a couple of shots where Draymond Green was throwing up whatever he wanted, but but they got away with that. And in a game where again they had Curry locked down because it was just
Until the
they
fourth.
didn't do anything else. Exactly until that fourth quarter.
And then they had that huge 12-0 run, which ended the
Yeah,
game.
exactly. It just ended the game from that point. But shout out to Houston. There's nothing really much I could really call them out on. Again, they just need the experience, and luckily they have a coach who has been to the finals before. I don't think he won it, but
No,
wait,
no, no. They
no, he
lost
never
two. They
won.
lost to Golden State.
You go to the state, exactly. But they have a really good coach who knows how to get them prepped and prepared and give them that more knowledgeable experience going forward. This is just a foundation mark. So they just have to take advantage now. But shout out to Houston Rockets. Yeah, did great. Hope to see y'all back in this situation next year. But shout out to my team who I got going to the finals with getting to the second round. Because if y'all didn't, y'all was gonna make both of us look bad instead of one.
That's right. The Golden State Warriors and the Timberwolves is the next matchup. Now, after recapping the first round, oh yeah, and the, the Thunder beat the Grizzlies. But recapping the first round, I got them figured out. By the way, yeah, we believe you, Josh. We believe.
Well, he technically wasn't lying when he was playing. They did have him figured out when he was playing.
When he was playing, they got blown out in the first two games, and then game three, they were probably gonna win if he plays,
Hmm.
but they lose in five, I think.
Yeah, they do lose in five. I don't know what he was talking about terms of. Yeah, he was winning
That's
this series.
nonetheless. Sorry, Ja. Fine in the West, by the way. Let's do some playoff predictions for the second round. We already kind of gave some of it here and there, but let's establish it firmly. Okay. Starting in the Eastern Conference, the Indiana Pacers and the Cleveland Cavaliers. You already kind of said yours. Is
Yeah.
there any changes on that? You sticking with that?
I still feel like the Cavs are going to win. But I'm not going to let my foot off the gas pedal with this Indiana team. I feel like this could potentially go to a 7-game series. But I say I got the Cavs winning in 6.
I would have to agree on that. Cavs in 6. I would love to see in the sweep, but can't go to sweep now.
It could be a gentleman's sweep.
I think the Hawks. God willing. You got the Cavs in 6. I won't doubt the Indiana Pacers as much as I do not like them. They are a threat. They are. And the Cavs clearly, if they haven't wasn't paying attention to game one, they shouldn't take them lightly.
Exactly.
The New York Knicks versus the Boston Celtics. Game one is tonight as of this recording. So, yeah, got in game one. Let's just say, who do you got in game one? First off,
I got the C's. I got the Celtics is on their home floor.
and who do you got winning the series?
The Celtics. Come on, bro. But I say this, I'll give you a game. 5 games. 5 games. Y'all win 1 game on your home floor. There we go.
Knicks winning 6. Knicks take game one. New York, stand up. Let's go, Knicks.
Hey,
Let's go, Knicks.
let me say this. Can I say this real quick? Can I say this real quick? If y'all for some reason find yourselves up by like 20, 30 points, y'all better find a way to keep it.
If we're down 20, we can come back because we've seen it.
Yes, but that's not the point.
Let's go Knicks. Let's go Knicks. Stop.
That's
Stop.
not the
Let's go
point.
Knicks. Let's go Knicks. Let's go Knicks. All right, God damn it. All right. That's the Eastern Conference. That's right. Orange and blue skies. That's right. That's the Eastern Conference. Now let's go to the Western Conference. We have the Minnesota Timberwolves versus the Golden State Warriors. Ja.
I got Golden State going to the finals, but this is going to be a very close series. Very, very close. I'm gonna go on a limb and say we probably gonna see another game 7, buddy. Yeah, this is going to a 7-game series, guys. In my opinion, I just feel like these two teams they match up well against each other, but I do give Minnesota the edge because again, I gotta be honest about Golden State. Yes, getting Jimmy was a godsend for them, but their team isn't as deep as in years past. So it's not going to be fun if this team goes flat because there's nobody off the bench who you could really depend on to keep up the scoring load. Whereas Minnesota has shown and proved that they got talent all around to do what they have to do. So I feel like it's going to be close because of the simple fact of once again those 3 names, Jimmy, Dre, and the greatest shooter of all time. But so that it could go to 7, but outside of that, it doesn't. They not winning the series. Wait, I have them winning the series, but
I say you haven't gone to the finals. You got to win the series then.
yeah.
I agree. It will go to 7. However, I have Timberwolves. I won't doubt Minnesota Timberwolves. I will not. They showed me so much in that first round against the Lakers, and I think they have a legitimate chance to not only beat the Golden State Warriors, they have a legitimate chance to win it all. I see the vision now. I see the vision. I believe in Anthony Edwards. I won't doubt him again. Hey, Julius, I still got some love for you too, Grant Julius. I still got some love for you.
And he
And
showed up.
not,
He showed up. He showed up in
he
this
did, he
post.
did, he did, he did, he did, he did. He definitely showed up. He definitely showed up. He definitely showed up. But it should be an interesting series, especially with Draymond hating on Rudy Gobert. We'll see what's gonna happen there. It'll be
I
fun.
forgot about that.
Yep, yep. It's gonna be
I
fun.
forgot about that. Yeah.
And not to mention two of Michael Jordan's sons going at it. But all right,
Yeah.
I got Timberwolves in 7. You have the Golden State Warriors in 7. All right, and last but not least, another game on tonight. Game 1 after the Knicks and Celtics. It is the battle of the two MVP candidates. SGA and the Oklahoma City Thunder versus Nikola Jokic and the Denver Nuggets. Ja, first, who do you have in game 1?
Well, let me just give a quick thing to say this. Prior to all the changes that they made, I actually did have the Nuggets winning the championship this year until they decided to go full red code or whatever they call it and just decided to like fire everyone who was important to their championship pieces. So, but I've been sticking with the Nuggets even before then. I'm sticking with them now. I feel like this is going to be another 7 game series in the Western Conference semifinals, and I have the Nuggets winning in 7 because you already know how I feel about Oklahoma City's second best player.
You got a problem with him.
I
But
don't got a problem with it. I'm just saying, like, make it
I
sense when you talk about the duos. Like, I'm just
I,
saying.
I also sorry, dude. I also got the Nuggets in 7. I don't know. I am a little bit of a doubter to OKC. I need to see more of them against more stiffer competition.
Mhm.
Um, this would be a test. This is the Nuggets. Uh, I need to see more of the supporting cast in big pressure situations. They did play well in those situations against Memphis, but
Mhm.
Memphis ain't Denver. So we're
Exactly.
gonna see how that plays out. But they got talent. Don't get me wrong, they got the chemistry.
Yeah.
And despite SGA being a free throw merchant, which he is definitely a free throw merchant. He is deservingly so in MVP candidate. He is deservingly one of the best players in the league. So it's gonna be a tough task for Denver, but I do think they will pull it off in the end, and I do think they do win. OKC wins game 1. So I'll give
Yeah.
OKC win game 1,
Yeah.
but
I
like I said,
agree.
I got
I agree.
Denver 7.
I agree with that. I agree with that statement. Here's the thing where I talk about it. I do have them winning game 1. I do have OKC winning game 1. But here's my thing with OKC is not only are they going against a team that, even though they're not the same team as when they won the championship, they still got their championship nucleus in terms of, again, Jokic, Murray, AR. I said AR, Aaron Gordon. Um, like,
AG,
you know, they know how to work around each other because they've been around each other for so long. Whereas with OKC, we seen the same story last year. We literally seen the same story last year where they had a really good record,
mhm.
just to get bounced out. And that's what I'm trying to say. I don't know how playoff ready these guys are when it gets up to facing serious competition. Because no disrespect to Memphis, they weren't the same team as what we thought they were. They were rightfully an AFC where before they was like the 4th seed before all of those crazy changes at the end of the season happened and stuff like that. And they dropped, like they showed why they dropped. They didn't belong in that 4th seed spot.
And those last 2 games where it was getting tough, Memphis didn't have a closer because Ja was out. Yeah, Ja was out. There was no closer for Memphis, and OKC almost blew that lead in game 4.
Mm-hmm.
But they held it together. But this is the competition that they need, and this is the test that they can prove to everybody. No, like we're not a regular season team. We can definitely win it all, and this is our year.
Exactly.
So we'll see. We'll see what happens. We'll see what happens. It should be an interesting second round. Let's go Knicks, please. Good God Almighty, please. Please prove everybody wrong. I I just want to see the look on everybody's face when the Knicks beat this bum Celtics team, this overrated Celtics team. Oh my God, this overhyped Celtics team. I can't wait.
I'll say this: if that happens, I'll apologize,
I want everybody to apologize.
and then I will change my pick and say I have them going to the finals if that happens.
No. We want your doubters to stay there. Just
No,
stay.
no, 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 no.
Stay there.
I got that going to the finals
Just
because
stay there.
because look at this. If y'all find some way to beat the Celtics and make it to the Eastern Conference Finals and face the Cavs, y'all these passes have shown because y'all faced the Cavs before that y'all better match up with the Cavs compared to any other Eastern Conference team. Y'all match up real well against the Cavs. We already see what Jalen Brunson does to Donovan Mitchell. But we're not even talking about that run, but we're talking about outside of that. Y'all match up real
Yeah.
well. Yeah, like or
Yeah.
basically identical in terms of
But
offense and defense.
we
So
haven't beat the Cavs just like the Celtics haven't beat neither team in the regular season.
you're right about that.
But
You're
hey,
right.
playoffs is different, right? Playoffs is different.
But the only thing, the Cavs got bench depth. Y'all don't. But go on.
It don't matter. From playoffs, you play everybody 48 minutes, right, Tibbs? Play them to the ground. Please, Tibbs, please stop. But okay. All right. I think that does it here for a podcast. All right. Thank you guys for watching. Thank you guys for tuning in. We'll probably do another one after the second round or maybe in the middle. We'll see. All right, y'all.
Yeah, yeah.
We'll
All
see
up
what
to you.
happens. Yeah. We'll definitely be back, though. We'll definitely be back. If you guys want to support us, we have a TikTok. We have an Instagram. We have multiple videos on our YouTube channel, other podcast episodes, as well as other kind of detail-oriented videos, just like the Clippers failing to win a championship, the Lob City Clippers, or the Phoenix Suns of the '90s failing to win the championship. You guys can go check those out. But that is all for now. Please like, share, and subscribe. Comment, give us your thoughts, and of course, I am Evan.
I'm Ja.
And this was the Mind of Basketball podcast,
And we're back.
playoff edition.